Hello, beloved listeners, and welcome to Snake People at the Movies, film criticism by people who actually like film. Join us as we dive into movies we love, movies we respect, and movies we wish we could unsee. It's the podcast where we talk about growing up and living queer, nerdy, and depressed, online and at the cinema. From the kids who are so ready for John Wick 4 to drop, it's Sneople at the Movies. I'm Ezra.
I'm Helena.
And I'm Matty. We have a full deck of Sneople this week. We've all
that.
returned from our various wars.
Three Jokers.
We are back.
We're all
honk honk.
Yeah, the lift down into the podcast mines is full once again. You can hear the finale of Billy Elliot playing in the distance.
It's a rattling, yeah.
That really got me.
God, so soon. Already out for the count. This is going to be interesting.
I mean,
I'm just full of giggles.
Yeah, well, Manny's attitude is appropriate for the popcorn frivolity of today's subject, which is, God damn it, we survived an entire summer without the summer blockbuster because of the global pepperoni pizza, but they're back, bitch!
Pepperoni pizza?
And we're celebrating with an episode on summer blockbusters.
Yeah, global panini.
Global panini. Yeah.
The global panorama.
I know that when I go to the movie theater, I like to say, boy, it's sure been a whole year with global panini. I can't wait to treat myself to some popcorn frivolity.
Do a little film. Yeah.
And then my usher looks at me like I have bananas coming out of my ears. Yeah.
Oh, like they care.
Look, one, you live in New York now, you can say any shit and people will just
You can say literally anything you want.
And,
it's actually true.
Two, unfortunately, I imprinted on Shane Black movies and now talk like this.
Yeah,
true. Unfortunately. Three fools, one brain.
Turns out that, fucking none of our mamas raised quitters, but they did raise fools, and that's a hell of a combo.
Hell of a combination.
No, none of our mamas raised quitters because we didn't quit when watching Quiz Bang Bang. Kiss Bang Bang. The name of the movie that
I've never quit a movie in my life.
Yeah. Well, that's not true.
Most movie. I think there's only been a couple for me.
I'm so excited to hear.
One of them was not my fault.
Yeah.
Have I ever left a movie? I don't think so.
I never walked out of a
asleep during Blue Valentine.
I never paused a movie because I couldn't stand it anymore.
What was the French Lesbians one that was clearly directed by a fucking
Blue is
dude?
The warmest color.
Yeah, I fell asleep both times I went to go see Blue is the Warmest Color, but I didn't leave the theater.
Oh, I fell asleep a little bit when I went to see the midnight release of Twilight.
That tracks.
The only time I've walked out of a theater, quote unquote, is because my mom and I were trying to go see something and we accidentally walked into the climax of X-Men 3, and for some reason it took us 10 whole minutes to figure out that we were in the wrong movie theater, and then we had to kind of awkwardly get up and leave. We came in, there was the bridge moving part. Maybe it wasn't 10 minutes, but it was long enough that we were okay, I guess this isn't a trailer? Are we in the wrong movie theater?
Oh, we're just watching a movie. Nah, shit.
Oh,
so I guess I
I
sort of walked out of X-Men 3.
Yeah, but
I don't know if that counts. Anyway. What do we sneeped?
What have we sneeped?
My list is deeply embarrassing.
Wow.
So I'll just get it out of the way.
Yeah.
All right.
Like a Band-Aid.
Okay. Here we go. So, one, I forgot to mention that I saw Dread last time. Z and I watched it together. And I was like, oh, man, I'm fucking forgetting something, aren't I? And I did. I forgot Dread because I forgot to log it, so that's on me. So I did see that. And then I saw Resident Evil Degeneration, Resident Evil Extinction, Resident Evil Afterlife, Resident Evil Retribution, Resident Evil, The Final Chapter, and Resident Evil Damnation. I have now seen every Resident Evil movie. I watched all of those movies in the span of 5 days, and 3 of them were in one day. So I watched Resident Evil Damnation and was like, great, another film down. And then didn't watch a movie for like a week and a half.
Oh, mood. Yeah.
Because my brain fell out.
Yeah.
I couldn't fucking do it. I was like,
that's an
I'm
incredible lineup of titles.
No! And none of them make any sense except for the final chapter, because obviously it's the last one.
I can't remember
none of
what
the others
part of speech that is. But whatever it is, that's a whole lot of them, and they're very punchy.
Yeah, the subtitles. No, that's wrong. The subtitles though yeah. None of them make any sense with the movie.
Brilliant.
Not a single one. Damnation, unrelated to the plot. That means it was all the live action ones and all of the CGI movies. There's only 3 of the CGI movies.
Damn. All
and
right.
they were all actually. I had a really good time. All of the live action ones passed the Bechdel test, which I was really not expecting. That was a fun surprise for me. They did my boy Leon Kennedy dirty, but the CGI movies all have him, and he's great, so I was fine. I also started watching Samurai Champloo again. I watched a couple episodes like several months ago, and then I was like, I want to watch anime that isn't Lupin. And so I started watching that, and I was like, man, Samurai Champloo is good. Because it is. And then dear friend of the show, Madeline, has started watching a Fox show called 911. Because her dear friend is very into it. And I was like, Madeline, you're really into this show. Should I watch it? And she was like, yeah. So I started watching that. Fuck cops. First of all, there's one cop in it, and fuck cops. But I don't know, it's fun. I have it like on in the background at work. It's very emotionally moving because it's like basically a soap opera with a higher production value. And people are in dangerous, emotionally tumultuous situations all the time because they're, for the most part, firefighters and like first responders and stuff. So, a lot happening. People, but it's fun.
Everything happens.
I can only do a little bit at a time because C above RE emotionally tumultuous, but Yeah. So that's me.
Hell yeah. That's cool. Do you want to go down the list, Hells?
I've just watched practically nothing. My brain is completely. I mean, for me, I was doing that thing where I was watching a movie every other day, and then for some reason, the past week and a half, I've just been getting off of work, getting home at 8, 9, and then being it'll be okay if I lay down here on my bed and go to sleep for 25 minutes, and then 45 minutes later, I wake up and go, so I didn't
bedtime.
Perhaps it is bedtime now, and I haven't eaten dinner. So, legit, I've just been I think I talked about this last week too, because I was still kind of in that mood. I've literally been watching a lot of Monster Factory because I wake up and I'm I only have time for a YouTube video. That's all I got time and the emotional energy for. So, since a couple weeks ago, I've only seen 4 movies. I watched Saint Maud. So my roommates finally bought a finally, I shouldn't say it was inevitable. They bought a projector.
Finally.
They finally got their shit together. No, they're amazing, and they bought a projector, and we've been arranging a thing out in our little yard to screen movies out back against the fence that we have down there. And there was a really nice warm evening a couple weeks back where we invited a couple of friends over, and we watched Saint Maud out in the backyard on a projector.
How was it?
Sick.
I've heard some stuff about it, and I couldn't decide if I wanted to watch it or not.
Yeah, it was good. It was interesting. There not a lot of explicit, really deeply scary horror until a certain point in the movie. I think a lot of it is just build up, but there's some interesting stuff there for sure. It didn't do a whole lot for me, but I think it was kind of interesting. And it was just I enjoyed the manner in which I watched it as well, so I think that helped. Speaking of which, I went to the movie theaters for the first time in 15 months, and I went to see Shiva Baby at Nighthawk Cinema in Prospect Park, or next to Prospect Park. It was so nice. It was so nice to be in a movie theater. was really happy. Nighthawk does this incredible thing where instead of just playing ads it's kind of ads, but instead of playing ads before the movie, they show like old trailers for a lot of like sometimes exploitation movies and cult films. Like they showed a trailer for Boxcar Bertha, which is this borderline like not grindhouse exactly, but like this little flick that Martin Scorsese did back in the early 70s before Taxi Driver. They showed clips from Heartbreak Kid. They showed a promo video that Mark Hamill did. I think it must have been for Empire Strikes Back, where he was like sitting in a movie theater and talking about special effects, and it was like from the 80s, and they were just showing like old promo videos and trailers, and I was like, this fucking rules, because I'm here by myself. Cool. Yeah, it was really, really novel and like really cool way of kind of getting primed for being back in the movie theater. I also really liked Shiva Baby. I thought it was very funny. And I liked being in a theater with other people laughing. It was nice. And then last night I rewatched The Lion King. No, wait, that was 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago I rewatched The Lion King. And that was good as always. And then last week I watched Blue Velvet, which was finally a nice little thing to check off my my bucket list, so to speak. And it was great. It was great. It's David Lynch. It's great. It's fucked up. Kyle MacLachlan is beautiful. Isabella Rossellini is beautiful. Laura Dern is beautiful. It was really disorienting because I watched that Dennis Hopper is in that movie being a very horrible, creepy person. And then the next night I came home from grocery shopping or something, and my roommates were watching a Disney Channel movie that I can't remember the name of, that Dennis Hopper was in, playing like a goofy sort of camp counselor type character, and I was like, okay, this is weird. It was very very unsettling.
He has the range.
He does have the range, tragically. Yeah. No, he was good. Blue Velvet is a great movie. That's it. I don't know if I have any real insight to offer at this moment. Maybe in the future. David Lynch episode.
Well, we don't have to expound on absolutely everything. So I obviously also I am the Ezra who watched Dread with Matty. They don't have another friend named Ezra.
I don't. And I wouldn't want one. Only room for one in my life.
My quota of Matties is full forever.
Thank you. There's a lot of us.
So I know, but I picked the best one, so they can all get fucked.
Thank you. Fuck that guy from the 1975.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so God, I love Dread. I love that we have movie. A handful of like objectively kind of trashy action movies that will just like you and I specifically will watch over and over again.
Yeah, but they're ours. So.
But they're ours.
And so, Dread is a good movie, actually.
Dread is like legitimately a well put together film. I mean, it's like it's just good. It looks good. It's put together tightly. I fucking love that movie.
Priest is bad, though.
Yeah. Priest is bad, but we just love it anyway.
I fucking love it, is the problem.
Look, Carl Urban's a fucking vampire in a hat. It's just, anyway.
Yeah. A vampire in a hat?
Yeah.
Vampire. Can't say no to it.
Can't say no to a vampire in a hat.
Ugh. Not me.
You wouldn't download a vampire in a hat.
You wouldn't download Carl Urban.
Fucking
I
test
wouldn't.
me.
He's an autonomous person.
Yeah. I would invite him to hang out with me, but I would not download him.
I would not download him. That seems rude.
So I also got to go to a movie theater for the first time in Check's Notes fucking forever. And I went to see Wolfwalkers.
Yeah.
Which of course I saw right after we did our Sean Bean episode. But just to call back to that, Jesus Christ, Sean Bean is good in that. Like, everyone is so good, and it's so beautiful, but, like, ugh.
Yeah, it's like the best work I've seen him done in years.
He's just, the man just elicits so much pathos. I die. I don't know.
He's so tender. He's really big and tall, and then his daughter is so small. Yeah. Sometimes animation is really good for that.
So many things happen in that movie, which is just, like, really lovely, and really leans into having a visual sensibility that would be completely untranslatable outside of animation. Like, you could not put together, like, those, like, composite shots of the landscapes that look like storybook pages in live action. Like, you just, it is completely uninterested in being something that, like, you could, like, have a setting be like that, interacting, like, that you could interact with in real life. It just doesn't give a shit. 'Cause it's a picture book, but it's just, oh my god, it's so gorgeous. And very moving. Everybody should check out Wolfwalkers. Also, god, it was so good to be back in the theater. I have a pretty big TV, but it's just such a different experience, and, like, the Pickford is the little indie cinema up here, and, like, they play trailers, but, like, all of the ads that they only do advertisements for local businesses. So, you know, I don't know, that's just, like, fun and nice to see.
Yeah, that's what the Hollywood did too.
Yeah, it felt very homey to come back to, and, like, at a time where I'm sort of, like, in a lot of ways, like, having a difficult relationship with Bellingham. Like, I like it a lot here, but I end up feeling like this town is sort of, like, becoming untenable if you're not, you know, like, a student whose parents are paying for everything, or, like, somebody who moved here from San Francisco and sold their house for $1 gajillion. I'm like, oh, okay, but, like, the Pickford still is, like, for everybody in Bellingham. Also, I only paid $1 for that ticket because it turned out that it was, like, the, like, take your kids to it Saturday morning matinee.
Yeah.
Because I bought my ticket online, and it charged me, like, 97 cents, and I was like, oh, this must just be, like, the, like, reservation fee or something. And I walked up and I was like, hey, how do I pay for the rest of my ticket? And they're like, what? So yeah, anyway, if you're anywhere near Bellingham, Washington, support the Pickford Cinema. They're great. Yeah. I also it was great because I watched that movie that made me have a lot of feelings about my relationship with my dad, and then my dad was like, hey, I want you to, like, go to the video rental in town and see if they have Kurosawa's only non-Japanese language film, which is called Dersu Utsula. And it is, my dad, like, went and saw it when he was, like, oh boy, like, my age maybe, with an old friend of his, and it, like, made such a strong impact on them that the two of them, for, like, years afterward, would like took the what the two main characters call each other. They would, like, call each other by these nicknames.
Aww.
Which was, like, really cute. And this is the friend, my dad's friend, like, he kind of dropped off the map, like, maybe 10 or 15 years ago. Like, my dad hasn't heard from him in years, but he was like, I've just been thinking about this movie. And it's really cool. I can kind of see how it would have been a lot more novel in the 70s than it seems now. Just in terms of, like, there's a lot more movies that are kind of because it's all, like, very, like, shot on location, and it's just a lot of people, like, tromping through, like, the south central Russian wilderness. But it's also about aging and whether or not the, like, encroaching of modern life makes other, like, modes of living untenable. It's also 2.5 fucking hours long, and we started at 9 o'clock, so let the lesson be, check how long the damn movie is before you started at 9 p.m. Because I started falling asleep for a little bit there, but, yeah, I don't know, if you're in the mood to sort of just, like, go into a movie not really expecting anything and see how it's gonna hit you, like, I would recommend it. There's a couple of sequences in it in particular that are really gonna stick with me, even if, like, other chunks of it are kind of forgettable. And the temptation to adopt a cat and name it Dersu Utsula, so I can just follow it around yelling Dersu a whole bunch, is, like, incredibly strong. Yeah, anyway. Oh, and then, like, my roommate decided to watch all the way through Hannibal before they took it off Netflix, so I keep seeing random episodes of Hannibal, and I was just like, fuck, I forgot how much I love this show. I really love Hannibal, you guys.
Keeping up with the cannibals.
It's just... Especially when, like, the show really cuts loose, and it's like, we're not making television, we're making a pretentious 80s art film that you have to fit in 45 minutes.
Love that for them.
Yeah, and I love that for them.
Yeah.
Is that the show about the therapist? And he's the other guy, and he solves murder? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Got a picture. That's the right. Not thinking of the other Hannibal. Okay.
Yeah.
The show,
the one with Mads Mikkelsen.
The show about the therapist who has a really unethical relationship with a couple of his patients, and actually he eats people. That's the really big problem.
Unethical.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I think about the Tumblr text post all the time, where like when Hannibal got announced, and someone was like, "Oh, they're making Hannibal the villain. Like I thought he would at least be an anti-hero," and someone just replied, "Was like he eats people."
Make him the villain?
Oh, they're making Hannibal the villain. Bro, he eats people!
Bro, he's already...
He murders and eats them!
The books
he does
already...
murder and he eats them!
They already exist. He's already... They don't have to make him... He is... Like, he's the...
He's the villain!
Anyway...
Silence of the Lambs!
I mean, he's not like the main villain in Silence of the Lambs.
Them.
He's like a villainous character.
He's...
But, like...
I cannot stress this enough. He kills people and eats them.
He kills people and he eats them.
It's a cannibal.
For fun.
Not for work. For fun.
No, he
like... this is not the Darter party. It's not like he's dying.
He's doing recreational cannibalism.
Yeah.
This is his hobby.
In the way that we three record a podcast on Friday night. Mr. Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal eats people.
That's what he does.
He eats them. And he serves them to the cops.
Yep.
Well, I mean...
Like, fuck the cops, but
it's what they deserve. But, like, his friends are the cops, and they come over for fancy dinners, and he's like, hello, eat people meat. And they're like, I wonder why Hannibal's meals always taste weird. None of my fucking business. Anyway, I'm gonna go investigate a serial cannibal now.
They're all just humming God That's Good from Sweeney Todd under their breath for a whole fucking 7 minutes. They're like, why is this song inexplicably stuck in my head anyway?
Oh, so weird anyway.
Couldn't possibly be any correlation between these two things.
Anyway, it's a really good show. Who was I talking about it with the other? Somebody was like, oh, I could never watch Hannibal, and I was like, yeah, my problem is I have brain symptoms, so I like Hannibal. I don't know.
Well, why couldn't they watch Hannibal? Just because of, like, Hannibal reasons?
I think it was my parents.
Oh.
I think it was my parents and possibly Amanda. And my dad specifically is like, no, that's like, it's just too much. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that is totally fair. Very fair. It is too much. You're correct. I like that it's too much.
Yeah. The problem is
Unfortunately,
that
that is
I still
the
need to
main
watch
thing I
season
enjoy
3.
about this show is that it is.
Yes, the issue is that it is too much, and I like that. I like when it is too much. I need to watch season 3.
Yeah, you do.
Anyway, yeah. I'm also the only Sneople who has yet to be in a movie theater. I'm waiting specifically for Green Knight to come out. I'm hoping, because the Hollywood is opening on, like, July 2nd. I am hoping that they will show the Green Knight, because that will be my ideal movie return experience, is to go to the Hollywood and see Green Knight.
That
would be
is
fucking
extremely legit.
amazing. I need to look them up
Yeah.
and see what they're up to. I miss them so much.
I know.
I miss how
Yeah,
cheap they
so-
are.
Yeah. Yeah. Boy.
Oh, I'm so happy for them. Sorry, I'm on their
What's
website seeing that they're reopening. And I've just seen that their reopening announcement.
Yay. Good.
Yay.
Every time I hear of a theater being like, all right, we're coming back opening, and I'm like, oh, thank God.
Oof.
Oh, thank God you
know,
did
right? Yeah.
like an indie theater. They made it. I'm like, whew,
Yeah.
great. Glad to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Hollywood was the one where I was like, I think they will be all right,
Yeah.
because so many people just care about the Hollywood, but I was still like nervously watching every time I drove home, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
check what their sign says.
Yeah.
And their sign says that they're going to open July 2nd, and they're going to I forget what they're going to run. It was something I wasn't super interested in. But I'm keeping my eye out, seeing what they're going to start doing again. Anyway,
Yeah.
we're talking about summer blockbusters is what we're talking about this
We
time.
sure are.
Really quick before we
Yes.
do that, the previous conversation about how Z is the only Z that Matty knows, and Matty is the only Matty that Z has as a friend. One thing I have been doing is I have been reading a little bit more lately than I have, and I did finish Aaron Morgenstern's The Starless Sea recently, which I really liked. I liked much better than Night Circus, actually. The main character in Starless Sea is Zachary Ezra Rollins, and so he just goes by Ezra for most of the book, and then there is a character
so funny.
who also calls him Z in it. And I was like, because his first name is Zachary, and I was like, this is oh. So I know too.
This is not my Z.
This is not my Z.
You know.
It's
You
my-
know too.
I know,
Yes,
it's
my
my
personal
secondary
friend,
one.
this guy from this book.
Yeah, I love him very much. It was a very good book.
Cool.
But he's not quite up to your standard Z, but he's,
Aw.
Because he's not real.
he'll do as a second. Yeah. And,
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
If Ezra needs to go into battle and needs a second, we have a
Yeah.
backup Ezra to
Yeah.
support them.
It's always important to have a backup Ezra.
Great. Sure. Yeah, mine's gonna be the guy from the 1975.
All right.
Yeah, mine's
I
gonna
don't
be
know if
Helena Bonham
I-
Carter.
Yeah. Wow, what a setup we have here. What a great round of people.
I was gonna say, does that mean I have to have
anyway.
my backup be the dude from Vampire Weekend?
I mean,
Oh my god.
only if you want.
You could. If you wanted to pick a real life person, yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I have some options. There's some famous Ezras out there.
I suppose there are. I couldn't name very many. It's like I looked one time, and I still was like, yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't really tell you about famous Ezras, which I think is kind of funny.
Why am I blanking on the actor's last name?
Oh, oh my god, I am too.
I know.
What?
What?
Huh?
The actor. There's like one semi-famous actor.
The actor.
Whose name is Ezra.
Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller?
Miller.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
I was gonna start listing things that they were in.
It's okay. We took a trip to
Boy.
get their city, as
Yeah.
I unironically say now and hate it.
It's very cute. I like that. Oh, great. Now that we've all decided who our seconds would be, if we were going to be in a duel,
Yeah.
let's talk about
Summer Blockbusters. Which there was going to be a segue there, but now, when you were saying that, the joke about making Hannibal the villain, I was going to be like, much like they made the shark the villain in Jaws, which is widely credited as having started the phenomenon of the fucking modern summer blockbuster. I literally just looked up like blockbuster parenthetical entertainment on Wikipedia because, we got to start somewhere, and I'm not ashamed to admit this is where I'm starting. And it is interesting that the the term first began to appear in the American press in the early 1940s, referring to aerial bombs capable of destroying a whole block of buildings.
Well, that tracks.
Yeah, so
I don't understand how this relates to movies.
Well, it was used in the advertisements about a couple of, like, war movies that they would, like, it was so, they were going to be so big and, like, exciting that it was, you know, like a big-ass bomb going off. Yeah.
Don't love it.
So yeah, this is well, you know, much like the summer blockbuster, it sounds like the term has something of a checkered history. Apparently it was coined, it was coined by publicists, it looks like. And then it,
of course,
fell out of usage after World War II when we weren't, we were still bombing the shit out of people all over the planet, but, like, I don't know, we were less, like, explicitly proud of it. No, that's not really true either. Anyway, and then Jaws happened, and if you haven't watched Jaws already, you should stop what you're doing. We'll still be here. Go watch Jaws.
Go watch Jaws and then come back.
Good as hell. Thanks for showing me that, Helena. And then like Star Wars, which was, you know, unbelievably successful. And so the combo of those two things really showed people, like, the potential profitability of, like, event movies. And just the fucking ever-increasing snowball of movie budgets and advertising budgets and movie budgets and advertising budgets. Oh god. Make it stop.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
The summer was
and now
originally
we just only remember
for...
the good ones.
Yeah. Summer was originally the time for, like, stuff that they wanted to shove under the radar, usually. Like, oh, there's this movie that's going to be out that's going to be a shitty. Why don't we just... It's like usually B movies that had some weird niche or mass appeal to them, but they weren't thinking of making any money from them. So let's just, nobody's going to the movies in the summer. Let's just put them out in the summer, except for the people
are
in
gonna,
New York,
like, go
I guess.
outside.
Yeah. The story that I remember hearing multiple places, but more recently from the Fran Lebowitz documentary that Martin Scorsese did, was that the summers in New York were so unbearable that people would, and I think, this is not just a New York thing, I think people do this in other places as well, historically, but movie theaters were one of the only places in the city with air conditioning. So people would go and just hang out in the movies in the summer because it was just hot outside. So, the quality of the movie, how much money it needed to make.
Not really the important thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it just became the whole situation.
That's very cool. I am fascinated by this knowledge. I don't know where I was going with any of this. So
you're okay.
It's background stuff.
We have kind of a loosey-goosey outline for this one. I'm just like, Z and I both had a thought of, like, what if we talked about summer blockbusters? And I was like, hey, what if we talked about summer blockbusters? Z was like, that's what I was thinking.
we literally
clearly
we so funny.
Brain synced. We have to do it.
Yeah, this is interesting.
2 out of 3 people had a thought. We have to do it.
Yeah, this is interesting that it's like we've kind of obviously, like, they're still happening, but also there's a lot of, like, backlash where people are like, for fuck's sake, like, why is this the only thing, everything has to be a sequel because people have something to draw on, and, like, every movie has to have $250 million spent on it, and that's, like, a way lowballing it because of, you never know who's getting paid how much to do what. And it's like, and they're like frequently bad. There's a lot of bad summer blockbusters out there that aren't even like, there's like enjoyably dumb stuff, and then there's just like garbage.
I feel this way also about like summer comedies.
Oh god.
There is usually, I feel like, kind of, they go hand in hand, where like you'll see just a wealth of like movies that come out in the summer that are either like action movies or they're like slapstick comedies, and like they're usually not super good, but they're like everywhere, and they all look like something that would just either I would be like bored by or would just make me cringe. Like it was just too, especially comedy especially, it's just too much secondhand embarrassment.
Oh god, yeah.
As somebody who loves the joke, so many like quote unquote like comedy movies are just not the kind of humor that I find enjoyable, and it is miserable for me.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Every time my friend's like, do you want to watch this movie? It's funny. I'm like, I'm gonna look up a summary on Wikipedia really quick. I'm just gonna double check.
I love a goof, but boy howdy, I cannot stand humiliation comedy.
Oh my god.
This is interesting because the like other things that this article links to includes AAA games, which I think run into but if you think about it, they run into some of the same problems where you have these movies that are sort of like, on the one hand, they're almost too big to fail. Because, like, holy shit, you've put so much fucking money into them. But there's also sort of, like, it still is the thing where it's, like, people are bored. The kids aren't in school anymore, so, like, now you gotta entertain your fucking however many children you have. And, like, yeah, it's still hot as fuck most places in the summer.
So, and movie theaters are air conditioned.
Yeah, and movie theaters are air conditioned. Like, people just end up going to see these movies kind of regardless of whether or not they're, like, something that would interest them personally, I think, just because, like,
right, if it wasn't summer.
Yeah, you just want to go to the movies. It kind of, there's this season where, like, many people kind of don't really give a shit what you're actually watching. As long as
it's more for the movie-going experience.
Yeah, as long as you can eat a shitload of popcorn and just, like, sit in the dark, and it's not a gajillion fucking degrees and, approximately as humid as Satan's ass crack.
Yeah,
like I was gonna say, I hate hot weather.
Summer is not really a season for people sitting at home.
No.
And watching movies. It's always you go out, because it's a thing to do.
Yeah.
That isn't just like sitting around in your house being like, well, what do you want to do? I don't know, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Don't stop
I think that's a very good point that like it's not the idea is that like these movies have like a wide appeal, so the likelihood that like you're gonna at least be able to like deal with it is pretty high. You're like, it's dark, you get to have the novelty of having an expensive little snack. And it's cold as hell in there.
Yeah.
Sometimes too cold.
Sometimes it's
cold
too
as fuck.
fucking cold. Why is it sometimes just cold as fuck in movie theaters? It's because air conditioning is, sketch.
Yeah.
But then also, like, you end up with this thing, much like, I feel like I think about like this about, like, AAA games a lot. Like, you'll have these AAA games, I mean, obviously the unavoidable reference here is Cyberpunk 2077, where, like, they'll be, like, just genuinely crap, but everybody buys them because there's just, like, this sort of social expectation that you're gonna go do the thing, and, like, maybe that doesn't exist quite as much anymore in the, rise of streaming and all of this shit, and, like, the kind of fracturing of, there's 80 gajillion options for everything all the time, but you still have these enormous movies that are, focus grouped within an inch of their lives. Fuck you, Disney. and calculated to have the absolute widest possible appeal, which I kind of feel like end up with this thing where everybody goes like, well, it's like everybody thinks it's fine, but nobody actually likes it.
Yeah, everybody's like, that was okay.
That was
inoffensive. But nobody thinks that it was great.
Yeah.
Because, like, if there's anything that people are thinking is going to be, like, if anyone has any really strong positive opinion, there's going to be people who then have really strong negative opinions about it. I think that's an interesting point to make about, like, the AAA games, and I feel like part of it, too, with Blockbusters is it turns into, like, I guess I almost said back in the day, but, like, even now, actually, there's, like, media phenomenon of, like, yeah, like, everybody I know is watching Game of Thrones, so, like, I'm gonna watch Game of Thrones just so I can be part of that conversation.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of originally, like, cable TV, like, all my friends are watching Lost every week, so I'm gonna start watching Lost every week, so, like, when I come to school the next day, I'm not totally lost in the conversation, you know? Like, I can keep up. Or 24 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, talk about a show I haven't thought about in a long time.
I watched one season of 24, and it was
into 24.
fucking riveting. And then, like, I never watched another one. But
yeah,
it was my
an
dad said
concept.
It was really scary because he, like, I was watching it in the basement. He came down there and he was like, "You, like, weren't blinking." Like, it was weird.
Just sucked in.
Yeah.
Lost in the 24 sauce. But yeah, I feel like that is a thing too.
In my case.
Yep. in the same with gaming. Like everyone I knew got or played, not everybody. A lot of people I knew played Cyberpunk. Because it was like there was so much hype around it and everyone's like, okay, well, like we're all gonna like play it and see what it's about, you know?
Yeah.
For me, thankfully, I was like, I don't want to play this because this is transphobic, but my dad bought it. Like, he, like, pre-ordered it before kind of a lot of that stuff came out. So I was able to, we, like, share Xbox accounts, and so I was able to play it on my Xbox. And I played, like, you don't remember that? I played, like, 10 hours of it or something, and I was like, this is so overstimulating, and, like, I am not getting a lot out of this. I just quit and didn't pick it up.
That game hurts my eyeballs, but, I mean, to be fair, so do
God.
many fucking, summer blockbusters.
Yeah. And I feel like we're really going in on summer blockbusters, like, hey, fuck them. But, like, also, Jurassic Park, I would count in that category. Yeah. And that is a really fucking good movie. Jaws, obviously, we talked about.
Serious bangers that have been blockbusters. I mean, fucking Alien. And, like, all of Indiana Jones. Ghostbusters.
Well,
Back to the Future. All 3 Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah.
There's only 3 Indiana Jones movies.
There's only 3. There weren't any other ones.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, the Men in Black
I don't remember if all of the John Wick movies came out in the summer, but John Wick 3 was at least summer adjacent because I saw it. I remember seeing it in theaters.
Well, and like the you know, the great summer blockbusters of our adolescence being fucking Pirates of the Caribbean, dude.
Yeah,
which they also thought was not going to work, which is hilarious.
Yes. Well, there you go.
Yeah,
look
damn,
at the cultural impact.
How do you fuck up so tremendously?
They had reason, I think, because, you know, but they also, Disney doesn't know a good thing when they have it. When they have a good thing, they fucking, you know, beat a dead horse with a stick.
For breakfast.
Yeah, they have it. They have people mean on Fridays.
I'm glad we had 3 different metaphors for that same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like my two of my favorite Disney movies. I talk about this sometimes, like Lion King and Pirates of the Caribbean. They were both wrong about both of them because they thought that Pirates of the Caribbean, because it is literally based on a theme park ride, and it was going to be stupid. And their whole thing was nobody wants pirate movies anymore because nobody had made a successful, well-received pirate movie in years. And they didn't think that's like, they thought, they were like, it's because people don't want to see pirate movies anymore, which is not true, because they're just like, people don't like good bad. Yeah, they just keep making bad ones. And so everyone was like, that sucked. And they're like, well, I guess no more pirates for people. And it turns out people really do like pirates.
That is such I feel like that is such a, like, hallmark of the way that Hollywood, like, monetization of ideas thinks of stuff, which is it's like movie bombs. Everybody goes, okay, well, like, what was wrong with it? And for some reason, nobody goes, like, I don't know, was the script dumb? Or, like, was it badly edited? Were the performances wooden? And they go, no, there were too many women, or the subject matter was bad. And it's like, I'm going to need you to remove your head from your lower intestine.
It's because a lot of these people aren't artists, and I'm not trying to be, like, mean about it, but they're just not. They're not. And you fall into this hole of where we are now, where, like, all art is referred to as content a lot, and that's just what it is. It's like content. Well, what's the content that people are looking for right now? It's like good movies. They're looking for. They just literally just want good movies.
I don't know. I'm looking for movies in which people, like, say funny things that aren't fat jokes.
Yeah.
What a fucking concept. But
I just like a well-paced action movie.
Yeah. Yikes. There's some. And a lot of them are action movies. I put this article in the chat, and I apologize. I meant to put this in here, like, 2 days ago, and then I just fucking forgot because my brain fell in a hole. But it is about how, especially in the summer blockbuster, you have, like, the ever-increasing, like, need for physical perfection in your actors, and at the same time, like, nobody fucks.
Yeah.
Like, in Marvel movies, no one fucks in those movies. Yeah, you have all of these people who... Well, yeah, nobody fucks because they're Disney movies, but, like... I don't know. If you think about... Actually, this is just, like... I'm really sorry that I, like, fucking... didn't put this in here earlier, but, like... People... Somebody gets a blowjob from a ghost in Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah.
People fucking Terminator...
yes, for reference, this article is from bloodknife.com, and it's everyone is beautiful and no one is horny.
Yes, thank you. I was gonna say we will definitely post it, like, put a link in the description or something, or a link on Twitter. But, like, yeah, nobody bangs, and I just think that's interesting. As a also, it really does point out that Christopher Nolan makes just, like, the absolute least horny movies of all time. Because it includes the line, did anyone else think it odd how Inception enters the deepest level of a rich man's subconscious and finds not a psychosexual Oedipal nightmare of staggering depravity, but a ski patrol? Like my man.
I was gonna say, nobody fucks in Inception.
Well,
nobody fucks it. Literally no one fucks in... No one fucks in Chris Nolan movies.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But people
Tom Hardy
love them.
did try his level best. He did try.
I mean, that's because Tom Hardy...
He was putting in the work.
Yeah. Much like
to Tom Hardy specifically.
Some people you will never convince me do not know what an iPhone is. You will never present me with a Tom Hardy character and tell me that he does not fuck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, there's just a vibe. But it's making an interesting point that, like, there's this feel that, like, the increasing kind of paint by numbers for success vibe of especially these big, like, tentpole films mean that, like, everybody's like, doing the violence, but there's no boning. And it's just... Two of the things that humans love to watch as a spectacle are violence and sex. And we've leaned really hard into the violence one, but we're like, but no more ghost blowjobs. Gotta leave that behind.
Mad respect to Dan Aykroyd, that was his idea. He's like, I Dan Aykroyd, want my character to get a blowjob from a ghost in this movie. And they're like, yeah, I mean, do what you want, you're Dan Aykroyd.
What a guy.
Love him. it's also the violence isn't very good.
No, the violence is also
how many movies
bad
do we watch where we're like, man, this fight choreo blows?
Yeah.
Sorry, I talked right under.
We all talked over each other. It's okay. I think it was.
Yeah. So what I said was, go ahead.
No, it's just like the Marvel movies specifically. The majority of the fight scenes, the actual violence itself, isn't really even that interesting, and the violence, the deeper violence in the Marvel movies comes from stuff that is like very fascistic, if that's how you pronounce that right word. Like, I think the most violent thing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe up to this point is, the Thanos snap, which is this just a non-violent action in of itself, but which is the most violent thing that anybody has ever done in that universe ever, and killed, half the universe. And that's, that's the kind of violence that those movies focus on. And then the actual, like, violence that we would, get thrills from, like well choreographed fight scenes, is like not very present at all.
It's very sterilized.
Yeah.
All of it is. It's very sanitized.
It's a strange vision of violence, because I think if you're going to put violence in a movie, then like, don't pretend that it's not. It's like sword fights. How the sword fights on the BBC Merlin show, of course, which was a children's show that that I watched of my own free will. There's never any blood in any of the fight scenes. There's never any blood, because we can't. And that's like a recurring theme that you see in a lot. I mean, there is blood in the Marvel movies, but in like a lot of children's entertainment, so called, is like, there's no blood, there's no consequences for this thing, that you see just violence being done.
Yeah, dude,
over
like,
and over again.
A lot of people get shot in the Mission Impossible. Like, a lot of people get shot in the later Mission Impossible movies, but you rarely see any, like, meaningful consequence of this.
Yeah, and it's like, violence violence has consequences. So if you're gonna show it, and don't be a coward about it. If you're gonna if you're gonna make a movie, I mean, and it's not going to be for everybody if you do this, and I'm not saying that every movie has to be at this level, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I mean, that's violence, and there's a point to it. It's not pointless just because
think about
it's
how much
gratuitous.
blood there is
We've
in
talked about
Jaws
this before in previous episodes. I know, but yeah.
Like, violence.
I mean, once again, like, talking about
Jaws.
Jurassic Park, like, I would like to say this is me mentally putting a pin in, like, because I have seen so many Resident Evil movies in the past week, I need to talk about them briefly, and I think it is relevant. But I will come back to that in a sec. I think that there is this idea that in a family movie, and I understand where it comes from, and I think that, like, if we really wanted to go down the rabbit hole here, we could get real into, like, specifically the United States, like, obsession with like violence, but like violence that is like, I don't know, blah blah blah, some like Christian ideal shit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, and we gotta keep ourselves pure so that we can fight the forever war.
Yeah. But on top of that too, there's this idea that, like, it's a family movie, and we're doing superheroes. Superheroes do fights. They do the bam pow punch shit or whatever. But it can't be too violent, because then we're going to encourage violence, right? But I feel like then the issue that is that it goes to the other side is because violence doesn't have consequences. People don't get hurt. So people then you could, I don't know if this is a thing, I'm not a scientist, I don't do studies, but the opposite argument be like, oh, well, there's no consequences. Why are kids not going out there then and just saying, like, well, Captain America does all these punches and he never, no one ever gets hurt. He doesn't hurt anybody, nobody hurts him. Like, why can't I do that with my friends? And then people get hurt like that. I think about when I used to work in outdoor education, and one of the classes I taught was like a zombie camp. That was like, we had themed camps, and that was one of the ones I taught. And I worked with kids from maybe the age of like 8 to maybe like 10. So late elementary school, kind of approaching early middle school. Fairly young. Actually, maybe this was when I think this was maybe 10 to 12, so a little bit older. So middle school, late elementary school, middle school age. And one of the things we taught them was like, okay, here's how you saying this out loud, someone is gonna be like, what the fuck? But here's how you pop somebody's knee out. This is how you kick somebody's knee out.
Oh boy.
Because if you're in a zombie apocalypse, that's a very useful thing to know. But that was something where it was like, just so you know, like, I am showing you this skill. You are not going to try it on each other. Absolutely not. If I see you doing it, you will be in trouble. I'm going to do it with another adult, and you can try it on me, because I'm going to be honest, your little kicks are not going to be able to pop my knee out. So, like, was that violent? Yes. But I made very clear to understand, like, this is harmful, and you can hurt someone very badly by doing this. Mm-hmm. And they weren't, like, scared. They weren't like, oh, God, whatever. Like, they were like, oh, okay, like, I understand the consequences of this action. Mm-hmm. And then they tried it on me, and they tried their little kicks, but I'm much taller than them, and nothing happened, because they honestly couldn't even reach the point that you're supposed to reach on a knee to pop it out when you kick it. But that, I think back on that, and I think it's funny, but I don't think to myself, like, we shouldn't have been teaching those kids that. No. Because, one, very helpful self-defense skill. Very glad I know how to do that. And it's not that hard. At me sometime if you want to know how to do it. It's not that difficult. But also, like, they understood the consequences of those actions. And I'm not saying that Marvel movies should have a little thing at the front being like, by the way, don't go punch people. But also, you know, if you're gonna make the argument like we should be showing like blood and stuff in movies because that's too much for kids, and it's like, okay, well, you're also showing them that, like, in their little heads, their hero can do all the punching and shit, nothing ever happens because of it. So, you know, there are arguments made to both sides, so, like, don't be a weenie about it. Just fucking commit to the bit.
Yeah. Kids can handle a lot more than I think people give them credit for sometimes. And I'm not saying that we should be showing Texas Chainsaw Massacre to children. That's, like, not what I'm saying. Right? No, the same way that you're not saying, like, yes, please teach all children.
Yes, children, please kick each other's knees out. Yeah. But, like, and I want to make it clear, the kids all listened to me, and they did not kick each other's knees. I was very good about that, and they did great. This was also when I was teaching children how to use knives. This was a fun point in my life. I loved that job so much. It was great.
Blood
Circle. But also I think it is up to, Blood Circle. Hello. So, anyway, I almost just started talking about that job more. What an interesting time in my life. But, I think there's also something to be said for, like, parents should be aware of the limits that their children have. Mm-hmm. And sometimes kids aren't aware of their own limits. Sometimes they go into something, they're like, yeah, I'm ready to see this. And then it turns out they're not. And then that's up to you as the caretaker, whether it be a parent or a guardian or a sibling or whatever, whoever is taking this kid to a thing, to be like, my kid can't handle this anymore. It's time for us to leave. I think that is reasonable and should be encouraged. And I think that is, on some level, part of the parent to understand, like, me, I was a total weenie. There are some things I just really would not have been able to handle in a movie, and that would have been on my parents to be like, my kid can't handle this, I'm not going to take them to that. And there's some kids that doesn't really bother them. They just have a stronger stomach. Mm-hmm. And you can be like, great, this is something that you can handle.
Yeah. Not just with violence, but also with, I think, grief. I was thinking about that when I watched The Lion King the other night, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I watched that movie a lot. As a kid, I watched that a lot. And a child in my family, who is, I think she's just should be turning 8 this year. Her mom tried showing her The Lion King when she was, older than I was when I was first watching The Lion King. Because I was watching The Lion King on repeat when I was about 2. And the Mufasa's death scene happened, and she looked so stricken about it that her mom was like, I can't handle this. Like, I can't do this, and I genuinely might not have been able to handle it. I know that's, like, a common experience for a lot of people that say, like, oh, the Mufasa's death, like, that really fucked me up. And I do not remember that very much. Like, obviously, I
remember being sad. I don't remember it, like, really fucking me up.
I got through it, clearly, because I was all about them songs, and I was like, yeah, Lion King, this whips. Let's watch it again. It's a really affecting death for a Disney movie, and it does hit home, in a way that, like, talking about what loss actually means and what death actually means. I think it does a good job of that, and and a similar thing was raised with the same kid by different people in the family about whether or not she should see Coco, which is a much less intense movie. I think if we're talking about, like, how intense The Lion King can be sometimes, I think Coco is much less intense in that way. They were saying whether we didn't know if that was going to be too scary for her or too, like, heavy for her because they're like skeletons and it's all about death. And I was like, but I mean, that's you can't just not. I mean, far be it for me to tell them. I'm not saying I should, like, tell people how to their parents to raise their kids and which movies their kids get to watch or whatever. But there is a point about you can't hide the concept of death from people forever in movies. Like, it's a very common thing. I mean, I don't know how to say this without sounding like an idiot. Like, it's death. It's a very real part, and the whole thing about Coco is that it's about death, but it's about the ways in which we can still, like, be with our, like, how to honor our family and like connect to our family after they've gone, and how to deal with death, literally, of people who are the deaths of people who are close to us, and as well about as many other things that it's about. Like, it doesn't have to be. I mean, it's still hard to watch things with death in them, the death of a loved one, the death of a parent, especially. But they can be good for you. They can be. Sometimes art is good for that, of, like, helping you work through not a traumatic, but working you through something in a cathartic way that you didn't expect it to. I don't know. This conversation got a little bit away from summer blockbusters, but you know what I mean? I
mean, that happened last episode too. I do know what you mean. And I think that, like, that is something that, to bring it back home, I think that is something that summer blockbusters of the and older ones, I said, of the modern era, and I was like, that's not fair. But summer blockbusters are a fairly modern concept, so it doesn't matter anyway. But those kinds of movies, like, I think that the reason that some of them really just, like, don't hit is because, as we mentioned, they're, like, so afraid to, like, go out on a limb and just, like, go for something, whether that thing be, like, like, having explicit violence, or, like, dealing with difficult messages, or, they just end up in the shuffle, they end up becoming kind of forgettable. And then maybe you could say, like, well, I don't know if that's what the producers of those movies really give a shit about. They're like, dope, I made my money back, sick, let's do the next one. Like, that's not really their thing. But I think that is kind of the problem with a lot of those, is, like, they're so worried about how do we make the most amount of money that then something about the art of film gets kind of lost in the shuffle there.
Yeah.
And this is not to say that this is a blanket statement for all summer blockbusters. I, notable person who enjoys bad movies, like, there have been, every time summer blockbuster season comes around, I'm like, all right, what kind of trash am I gonna be shoveling into my face this season? But for me, I'm always like, it's not like I'm gonna watch all of it. I'm like, yeah, this is a season for kind of, like, goofy ass action movies, which is a genre that I have fun with, and, like, I'm gonna watch some stuff, I'm gonna have fun, and probably not gonna remember any of it later. Like, I'm not gonna buy any of these on DVD. And that's, sometimes that's okay, but also I think it's fair to say, kind of as an overall criticism, like, that's kind of a bummer too, that, like, this is a season where there's a lot of movies coming out, and a lot of them are coming out specifically that are just kind of, like, meh, I don't know. It's a mixed bag for me.
It is a mixed bag. I feel like we would be remiss to end this episode without saying that also a shitload of these movies are fucking funded by the Pentagon.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's not a conspiracy theory. That's just straight up real.
That's just
movies,
true.
Movies
Yeah.
that have depictions of the U.S. military in them are often.
Do you know which one refused Pentagon funding?
I do, but please tell the class.
Go ahead.
It's Pacific Rim.
Yes, my man Guillermo del Toro was like, I will not take your money, thank you.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro was like, no. So however good you feel about Pacific Rim, you should feel better about it, because that one, at least, is not funded by the American forever war machine.
Yeah, exactly.
So, this summer, enjoy your opportunities to go sit in an air-conditioned space and eat overpriced popcorn, but remember to, undermine American imperialism whenever possible.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And Matty, please, Resident Evil.
Resident Evil time. I looked up. I was like, because those movies have such a vibe of summer blockbuster, and I was like, did they come out in the summer? And it looks like the first one came out in March of 2002. 4 of them came out in September, specifically like early September, which I think is very funny. And then the last one came out in January. So I don't really know what the thought there was, but for the most part, they were summer blockbusters, and that kind of tracks for me. The first one definitely has more of a horror vibe. They end up spoilers for the Resident Evil movies, but I don't care. They end up trapped in a underground facility. Also, like, if you play the Resident Evil games, joke's on you, they're not related at all. That was literally the point. They end up trapped in an underground umbrella facility, and they have to, like, try and escape. So, like, that is a pretty typical horror movie setup. They're stuck in there with a bunch of fucking zombies, and there's, like, an AI trying to kill them. So that has more of the horror vibe. Actually, also, those movies do not skimp on violence. They're zombie movies. Like, you know what you're getting into. The first one especially, there are multiple people getting cutting, like... Let me try the sentence again. There are multiple people getting cut apart by, like, lasers, and it is gross to look at and gross to hear.
Ooh.
Yeah. Fun movie, though. And then the rest are kind of more just like zombie action. They're not really super scary, I would say, which is what makes me think of them as like blockbusters. And like they abruptly become post-apocalyptic in the third movie, which I was really not expecting. It was a very weird turn of events. Yeah, that was kind of the end of the thought. Is like the Resident Evil movies are the like #1 highest grossing video game movie franchise of all time. Like, they just made incredible bank, despite the fact that they have been generally fairly panned. Not high reviews on the Resident Evil movies. And they're not even, like, entirely summer blockbusters, but for me, they just have such a, like, they have, because, like, that's late summer. I don't know if I would count that as a summer blockbuster, even the September ones, but, like, there is such a particular vibe of, like, my favorite things about summer blockbusters, and that they are, like, actually, they're usually kind of violent. The plot is, like, a little off the wall, but everyone is fully and 100% committed to whatever the fuck they're doing. And I love that so much. God, I watched so many of those all in a row. I will also say, this is just a little fun fact, is they hired fucking George Romero to direct and write the movies, and then his script was later rejected and dropped.
What?
And I'm like, hello?
Damn.
Okay, well.
They hired Paul W.S. Anderson wrote all of the other ones, and he directed 4 of them. And I'm like, but Romero? Romero?
You got the man who invented
the guy?
the genre that you're doing, and then you said, I've read
actually,
better. I mean, who am I to say?
Wikipedia.
Maybe it was shit.
Maybe it was bad.
But
while Romero's script was supported by a number of people from Capcom and Constantine, which is the film company, it was rejected by Constantine producer, this guy, as well as Capcom producer, different guy, who said that Romero was fired as his script was poor. Citation needed, so who knows how true that is, but I'm like,
yes,
that's
his script
insane.
was poor. Citation needed, please. Can we read the
yeah,
script?
please.
That's like, sorry, that's like when Disney fired Phil Lord and Christopher Miller from being directors of the Solo movie, and they were like, you know who's a good guy who's gonna get us some real exciting Star Wars shit? Ron Howard.
Yeah, that was a cool
And
idea.
then they got Ron Howard and Phil Lord and Christopher Miller were like, Dunk, we're gonna go make Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse now. Later.
And I'm glad they did, you know?
Yeah.
If Solo had to die so that I could live, I'm okay with that.
It is an acceptable trade-off, but also, like, man, Solo, like, could have been fun and just was not fun.
Yeah, it was alright.
That's not true. I had a perfectly acceptable time watching that movie.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it since. I was like, this is fun. I'm gonna go watch a different Star Wars movie now. But this is my last thing I would like to say on Resident Evil, and it's the guy who wrote them was like, these films will not include any tie-ins with the video game series, as, quote, underperforming movie tie-ins are too common, and Resident Evil, of all games, deserved a good celluloid representation. Which is true. Like, there's a lot of bad video game tie-in movies. And then in the next movie, they started introducing video game characters, so he really didn't stick to his guns on that one. He made the first one, then he was like, ooh, I'm gonna make this a rewrite of Resident Evil 3, though, with my OC, played by Mila Jovovich, who does a great job in those movies. And she's so hot for all of them. Boy. I really want to watch Jurassic Park.
I'm excited
just
to
thinking about
make
her.
Helena watch Jaws with me for 4th of July.
Yes.
Yes.
Can I be invited?
Of course.
Of course.
Can I watch Jaws?
Oh my god, you're all invited.
Okay. I want to watch Jaws again.
I just
You're-
really want to
all
watch
of
Jaws
you.
again. I want to
Yeah,
watch Jaws
God,
again
I wanna-
and yell about how unexpectedly homoerotic it is.
Yeah. Think about the boat scene. I'm just thinking about
The
it.
boat scene. Oh man. So
Think
good.
about
It's such a
men on a
good
boat.
movie.
It's such a good movie.
It sure is.
We talked about Jaws last time. We're
Yeah.
approaching summer and we're thinking about Jaws.
It's Jaws
Yeah.
season.
We're gonna
It's
have
Jaws
to drop
season,
a
baby.
reference every single episode the way that like every single episode of Seinfeld references Superman in some way. That's just gonna be us, but with Jaws.
Yeah, this is, instead of like Summer of the Rings, this is gonna be Summer of the Jaws. We're not gonna do
thinking
multiple
about
episodes
her,
on
and then
Jaws.
It's just a picture of the prop shark.
Of the it's that shot that I posted on the last episode where the shark is coming up.
Yeah.
And yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you mean. I got you.
Yeah. I'm sorry I can't be her.
Sorry, I can't be her. Roy Scheider.
Yeah.
Roy Scheider being shoved
Yeah.
to a shark.
Being shoved to my best friend, the shark animatronic. Sorry to you two, but my best friend is the shark animatronic from Jaws.
Named
okay,
after Steven
yeah.
Spielberg's
Friendship
lawyer,
ended
yeah.
with the rest of the Sneople.
Yeah, mood.
We're all best friends with the shark.
Yeah.
That's the truth. All right. Are we good?
I think we're good. I think
we
that,
done here.
Hey everybody, hey listeners, are we good? Are we like good?
Hey, are you guys done?
yeah, hey, leave us a review on iTunes and tell us if we're good.
Please.
Oh my god, new
But
new
if we're not good, just tweet at us. Don't put a review on iTunes. Just
No, don't tweet at
directly
us.
at people _ No, I'm the only one who takes care of the. I mean, you guys could log into the Twitter if you want, but that's going to be basically directed towards me. At people _ steak. Tell me if you think my show is bad, and I will make jokes at you.
Yeah.
That's a guarantee.
I just I made this is just like totally random thought to go out on, but I made a tweet earlier today that was a picture from a board book that I was labeling at work. And I just said, yes, the 4 genders, and it was a picture of dinosaurs, robots, horses, and dads, and I was like, yeah. And somebody tweeted that on
This
the
is my
private
new
account. And I was like, what do you possibly have to say about this that could be so controversial?
Bro, how much you want to bet that they were picking a gender?
Okay.
Oh.
Also, that's my new 1-page tabletop game.
Yes.
Dinosaurs,
Well, I was thinking, it was what dinosaurs, robots,
horses, and dads.
horses, and dads.
It's actually Dinos,
Fuck.
Robos, Horsies, and Dads, because it's a board book for kids.
Oh my god, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Those are the 4
Yep.
classes that you have to pick
Oh
from.
my god, I love it.
Fantastic.
Okay, gonna wart that down really quick.
And
Hold on.
as a little treat from us to you, I would just like to say that Leia and I have invented a new personality test for all of you out there who have a shelf of DVDs alphabetized. I know you're out there. Close your eyes, point to a random DVD on your shelf. What does that 3 DVD sequence say about you?
I haven't done it yet. I need to do mine.
You should. It's really funny. If you do it, fucking tweet it at us, because we had some absolute bangers. Yeah, we should actually.
Yeah,
I
we'll
tell
have
you
to
what, we
post
should
ours as
tweet.
well.
We'll tweet some of ours from the official account and see if we can get people
for
to
sure.
get in on that. And so, do that while you're waiting for your local movie theater to open, so you too can experience the joy of going back to the movies. Until then, thanks for hanging out with us here on Sneople at the Movies from the Infinity Break Network. Check out infinitybreak.net for more awesome content, and come hit us up on Twitter at people_snake. Our theme music was done by Johnny Ronaldo, who you can find at Johnny Ronaldo on Twitter. Our logo was designed by Bethany Luthold. Check her out at bethanyluthold.wixsite.com. If you've got a subject you want to hear us talk about, a movie you think we absolutely need to see, or a PowerPoint defending your favorite bad action flick, come say hello! Also, if you can, please leave a review on iTunes and share the show with any friends who you think would enjoy it. As always, thanks for listening, and real soon, we'll see you at the movies.
Yay!
Yay!